For all of you there in Agape land around the globe and those who are here in the sanctuary, just look around the room for a moment and see who's swimming with you in these deep waters of the ocean of devotion. Bow to one another and just say out loud, "You are so magnificent." More magnificent than you ever thought before. And you're being freed up to realize your divinity. And it's happening right now. And that's the way it is. And so we feel into this dynamic, which is what you have done today. You have practiced for a moment the topic of the month, which is to leap with a great intention, because the life that you desire already exists. We have gone to the depth, to a degree, of an understanding that we're living, moving, and having our beingness in the field of infinite possibilities. I want you to just let that sink into your awareness, that we live in a field of infinite possibilities. And though at times we don't think along those lines, we get caught up in the vicissitudes of the human dynamic of time and space and all of the to-do lists and all the stuff that we can see through the sensorium, which are the five senses. But when we pray, when we meditate, when we vision, when we enter into service, as we did yesterday, we begin to catch a glimpse that we actually live in a field of infinite possibilities. Now, within this infinite field of possibilities, of course, we could say we live, move, and have our beingness in God. It's the same thing whether you're looking at it through the lens of quantum physics or whether you're looking at it through the lens of mysticism, deep spirituality. We're living, moving, and having our beingness in this field of infinite possibilities. And you are called this month to choose the possibility of the life that already exists, where you are living fulfilled, dynamically happy and healthy, dynamically wealthy and prosperous, of sacred service as a spiritual artist, anchoring all of these qualities on earth. In other words, you get to elevate the feeling tone of your life and choose the possibility that you want to live in. This is what you have as a sacred power within you. The average individual, and none of you at Agape are average, by the way. You are off the bell curve because you're here. But we're talking about your cousins, some of your friends, well, acquaintances. The average individual is basically moving through life and waiting to see what's going to happen so that they can react to it, not you. You are learning to choose with an elevated feeling tone of gratitude and thanksgiving of the timeline of the existence of that possibility that already exists in the mind of God. You're choosing that and calling it forth as the activity of your awareness and living in it now. So you're leaping with intention because that world already exists. So in that feeling tone, you come to an understanding that there are certain beliefs that we've inherited. We didn't give them to ourselves, but through the misinterpretation of experiences, through environmental persuasion, there are certain beliefs that our personality has formed itself around. There are beliefs like I'm not good enough. There are beliefs like I don't matter. There are beliefs like I'm unworthy. There are beliefs that I'm unloved. There are beliefs that I'm not supported. These particular beliefs that many people have inherited from the world of effects, the world of appearances, begin to be like a kernel of personality. And then that personality forms a kind of a repelling from the universal givingness. It's as the topic would indicate, it's the great bypass. We talk about bypass. We used to talk about that a lot in the 80s and the 90s a little bit, how not to bypass and not to bypass the emotions that are within you, not to bypass certain things that are within you and pretend that they're not there, because what the mind suppresses, the body expresses. So we know about that bypass, but we need to begin to think about the fact that if, in fact, we've inherited these particular thoughts and feelings and emotions about not being good enough, that allows for the universal presence through its law to bypass us, because we've created a repelling against the blessings that are seeking to happen in our life. Are you picking up what I'm putting down here? And so we are opening ourselves up and coming to an understanding that fundamentally everything is vibration, from the greatest star to an aphid to a ladybug to your body temple. Everything is vibrating. Everything is a frequency, you see. And just as a radio can only get a particular station if it tunes in to that radio station, to that particular frequency, the blessings that are for you, and they are countless, they are magnificent, you can only receive those blessings if you tune in to that particular frequency. If you don't tune into that particular frequency, the universe has no recourse but to bypass you, because you're on a different station. You're on scarcity, you're on lack, you're on limitation, you're on fear, you're on separation, you're on doubt, you're on self-loathing, unworthiness. And so when we speak of the bypass we want to avoid, because life is on our side, we want to open ourselves up with deep appreciation for that which the mind may call large or that which the mind may call small, so that we become no longer repelling the graciousness of the presence of God that is everywhere in its fullness, constantly being itself, is not intermittent, is not go on and off, does not come and go. We never pray for God to come here, because where could God go? But God is everywhere. God is omnipresent. So God does not come and go. We come and go. We come and go, you see. And so we open ourselves up so that the vibrational frequency of the high feeling tone of gratitude and thanksgiving is the station we're tuning into, so that the universe doesn't bypass us. It passes through and as us. I'm talking about the universal presence that birthed the cosmos, that birthed the universe, that birthed the universal law that never compromises itself. Life is on your side, I tell you. And you want to feel that. And so what happens is we begin to put up barriers through what is called like mental barriers, like all or nothing thinking. Oh my God, because I made a mistake, my whole life is going to be ruined. That's all or nothing thinking, or catastrophizing. If this does not go right, my entire life is ruined. Or personalization. Somebody is not feeling good. It must be my fault. You ever get into that? People get into that. Something's wrong. It must be my fault, you see. And so there's all these mental blocks that we put up that repel the universal presence from expressing through us. So if you can see fundamentally that you are, and I've said this over the years, you are a vibrational being now corroborated by the new science that's emerging over the last 20, 30 years, that we are vibrational beings, and that you are not begging or pleading a reluctant deity to give you anything. You are lifting through a high intentionality, deep appreciation, so that you're tuned into the radio station of G-O-D. You're tuned into the radio station of receptivity. That's a great T, by the way. You're tuned in to the radio station of levity, being in joy, of happiness. You're tuning into the radio station of the total givingness of the Spirit. And once that occurs, and then all of those mental things that repel that I have begun to express begins to dissolve. And I want you to know it's that simple. It's not that easy, Because the personality has formed itself around beliefs that aren't true. And a lie believed acts as a personal law until it is neutralized. And so that is why it is difficult to stay out of catastrophizing. That's why it is difficult to stay out of all or nothing thinking, you see. Because that lie takes over and takes over the emotional body. The other thing that repels against this dynamic flow of good is emotional reasoning, meaning just because you feel it emotionally, you think it's true. Your emotions oftentimes are lying to you because they are the expression of previously held perceptions and interpretations of past experiences that go unresolved. So that becomes a part of your emotional chronic tone. And so you end up feeling a certain way. When I use feeling, this feeling tone, which is of God, emotions are of the condensation of a previous perception. We actually believe those emotions and catastrophize our life. And so we have to come out of emotional reasoning. This is why you meditate. This is why you pray for real. This is why you enter into the life visioning process. This is why you count your blessings, you see, so that you can begin to dissect within you the fact that your mind is spinning out and catastrophizing all or nothing thinking, personalization, emotional reasoning, so you can watch it. Just as you go into a movie theater at times and you're watching a movie and you've already know before you go in there, there's going to be drama, there's going to be some humor, there's going to be some fear-mongering, there's all kinds of things. And for a little while you give over so you can see what the writer had in mind, and the actors are absolutely so good that they actually become the characters that the writer has created. So you have a little fear, a little doubt, a little worry, oh my God, a little suspense, what's going to happen? Oh my God! But then, when the movie's over, you walk on out and say, that was pretty good, huh? No, that wasn't pretty good. Whatever the case may be. But you begin to develop the awareness that when these repelling mental and emotional frames begin to take over, you look at it like you're watching a movie. You separate from, ooh, why was I so catastrophizing my life? I made one little mistake and I went all the way to my life is ruined. And why am I into all or nothing thinking? You see, one little thing, it happened, and I took it all the way to the end of, oh my God, no one's going to love me anymore. You see, why am I caught up in emotion? You look at the movie that's written by the personality that has at the center of that personality lies of lack, limitation, fear, doubt, worry, unworthiness, not good enough. You just look at it like a movie, and you're able to separate yourself from it. And then you're able to choose. You're able to choose, leap. You're able to choose, leap with intention. Because there is a life already in existence for you, and the surface mind does not know how to get there. The surface mind doesn't have a strategy. The surface mind is protecting the personality that has forged itself from time, but there's a spiritual part of you, the dominant part of you, the real part of you that's resting in smiling repose, waiting for you to recognize it. When you pray, when you meditate, you are beginning to recognize, oh my God, there's something about me that's all right. There's something about me that's untouched by time. There's something about me that's more than any mistake I may have made in life. There's something about me. Oof. You begin to see it. And what happens is the static from being on the wrong radio station begins to change. You start to change the radio station. Life is for you. Life is good. Ooh, you have everything you need. Ooh, you're beautiful. You're wonderful. You're magnificent. Everything you need is within you. You begin to feel that. And then out of nothing, the invisible begins to become visible through intelligence guiding you, through the feeling tone of love moving through you. You begin to walk differently. You begin to talk differently even before there's a physical manifestation of how to do anything. What are you doing? You are walking in the timeline of that which already exists. You're walking in it now. And then you start to see possibilities, opportunities, serendipity, coincidences. And you start to notice as soon as the mind goes to catastrophizing, all or nothing thinking, emotional reasoning, personalizing. That was a nice movie, but I'm through. I'm through with that movie. I've seen it too many times. I don't need to keep going to that same movie over and over and over again. I'm projecting a different movie. Life is for me. I'm the star in my own life, you see. And in my own life, I am dedicated. I'm dedicated to shining and radiating and glowing so much that I don't take what I perceive, what other people are thinking personally. Because oftentimes they ain't even thinking about me. They ain't even throwing at you. I remember, I've shared this a number of years ago, but I remember I used to play Pop Warner football. And I was the fastest on the team. I was the fastest in the league. And they had different plays for me in which, they had something called the naked seven. When I was playing quarterback, because when I was younger, I was more ambidextrous. I could throw with my left hand, I could throw with my right hand. And so all game, I'd be going to my right, throwing and running. But if we needed a trick play, I would run to my left and throw left. Or I would go deep. Anyway, one day, we're down by a touchdown or something. And so Coach Manley called the play. And I was going long. Another guy was going out and making a little button hook. And so I'm running down the field. I'm way open. And the quarterback throws this pass, but it's short. So I use all of my speed and run and try to catch the ball, and I bump into the other receiver. And I said, God, that was such a terrible pass. And the coach says, Beckwith, he wasn't throwing it to you. And I got so embarrassed because he was throwing it to the other receiver. I was a decoy. And I came running back and messed up the play. And he said, Beckwith, he wasn't throwing it to you. That's how life is sometimes. Ain't nobody throwing at you. You're just taking it personally. They're doing their own thing, you see. And then you get all mad and you forget that your thoughts aren't hurting anybody but you. You see? And so what we're opening ourselves up to at this moment is something called freedom. It's called spiritual liberation. It's called awakening. It's called being available. We're leaping, living, you see, appreciating. We're living, enthusiastically appreciating presence. That's leap. Living, enthusiastically appreciating presence. Leaping with intention. The life we want to live already exists, you see. And you become like an instrument of right action. Sometimes you don't know why you did a certain thing because it seemed illogical. But then you realize in hindsight, oh, that was God moving through me. I needed to take that step that way in order to reveal, to be a revelation of the beauty and the love, the prosperity, the abundance, the healing that was trying to manifest by means of me. If you can catch in this infinite intelligence that there is what I call a super-soulful you. Say the word, super soulful me. Say it again. Say it again. There is a super soulful you. Sometimes we call it the higher self. Sometimes we call it the Christ essence in us. But when you begin to think about that there is a you, not forged by time, but there is a you that exists. And this you is your real being, and this personality construct is the avatar for it. You begin to open up and you're surrendering to not a God out there. You're surrendering to the God here. As Emerson said, the innermost God and the outermost God is the same God. You're surrendering to your super soul self. Come. I'm giving you full permission to be me right now. It's not a foreign agent. It's you. But it's unsullied by the irritation in your shell. It's unsullied by time. And you're giving yourself permission for it to come forward. Sometimes you argue for your limitations. You argue for your lack. You argue for your disease. You argue for your discomfort. You have every excuse because of all the stuff that has happened to you that you have interpreted an interesting way. Argue for your limitations and they will be yours. But if you argue for your greatness, argue for the beauty that is within you, argue for the abundance that wants to flow through you and you're living, moving, and having your being in it, you must have the winning argument. That's what prayer is. You are arguing, you're spiritually arguing, and you're winning the argument. God is here. Life is for me. There is nothing against me. You're having an inner argument with passion, enthusiasm, and intentionality. You're having an argument with your own awareness until there becomes a breakthrough. And then the dawning of intelligence and love and beauty flows through you. And then you say, oh my God, it's been here all the time. But I've been blocking it. I've been hindering it. I've been repelling it. I've been on the wrong radio station. Lack and scarcity. Separation is where I've been tuning into. No more. I'm leaping with enthusiasm. There is a life in this field of infinite possibilities where the life of joy and love and abundance and creativity and generosity, it's already existing. Let me leap into that. I was thinking about how art reflects life. And I was looking at that TV show, Dark Matter, in which they've taken the quantum science, and one individual has figured out a way through creating this technology to go to the different timelines where he exists in different timelines. And he didn't like the timeline he was living in. He made some choices of which he did not like it. I understand this is, a film. But he leaps into another timeline of a timeline he thought he wanted to live in, and he kidnaps himself from that timeline and puts him into another timeline and takes over this life. And so the whole movie is about the original guy trying to get back to his timeline and the new guy trying to stay there. It's interesting. I mean, it's a drama and all of that. But they've created a movie out of quantum reality, that there are infinite timelines that exist simultaneously. Now, where you're concerned, there is a you living happy right now. It's your spiritual self. It's your super soulful self. You get to choose that timeline right now. In other words, you're breaking free from time, which is a mental construct. Don't get nervous. I'm gonna stop soon. You're breaking free from a mental construct of time, because time is an illusion. Time is the measurement of distance between objects, and time is the measurement of the duration of a particular thought one is holding. So if you're having a particular thought, different perception, it creates an experience of time. If there's a distance between me and you, then the time it takes for me to get to you, that's a measurement of time. But in reality, there's no distance between us spiritually, because we're both all emanating from the source of all creation. And once the thought ceases, time stops. That's why you meditate. You break free from time. And then you leap with great intention. I'm living a beautiful life. Oh my God, life is for me. It's not against me. It's for me, because it wants to know itself as my life. It's for me. And then the old life begins to fall apart. The inherited beliefs that have produced a personality that has repelled life begins to fall apart. That's why sometimes spiritual awakening seems like insanity. That's why sometimes spiritual awakening seems like you lost your mind, because temporarily there's a whole shifting of, who am I? What do I believe? I don't know. Who am I? I've been meditating, suddenly I don't know who I am. And I like this person. God, where have I been? I've been lost in time and space. But now, I'm free. I was blind, but now I see. I thought life was against me. I thought I was the only one in which life was not blessing. But no, I was just tuned to the wrong station. Now I'm tuned to life is good. Woo-wee! So now, every thought is emanating from a sense of connection. So I am fathering a whole new life with the seed thought of brilliance and love and generosity and goodness and creativity and deliberate compassion and beauty. I'm living to father and to further and to express the glory of the living one that is within me. Woo! It's Father's Day every day. I'm planting something good every day in the garden of infinite potential. And I watch the movie and I weed that which no longer belongs to me. Woo! We can be free, I'm telling you. Just feel this just in this moment, just feel freedom. If you've ever felt freedom in your life, if you've ever felt love in your life, if you've ever felt joy, if you've ever felt your needs were met, if you've ever felt abundance, feel it now. If you've ever felt grateful, feel it now. Don't wait until something happens to be grateful. Just feel the gratitude now. Just anything, whether you think it's a small thing or whether you think it's a big thing, just be grateful. And in so being, you're tuning your inner radio to the frequency so that the great bypass doesn't happen. The universe can't bypass you. Ooh, I want to give, but I keep repelling. The universe is like, I want to give, they're blocking me. I want to give, no, they think they're unworthy. I want to give, they think they're not good enough. I want to give, but they think they're the only ones that aren't being blessed. They think they're special, that they've done so many bad things and nothing good is going to happen. I'm trying to give, but it keeps repelling me. I got to bypass them. I don't want to bypass them, but I got to go. We don't want that bypass. We want it to bypass. We want it to pass through us, as us, right now. Wow. Whoa. 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 Take a pure inhalation right here. Release with a sigh of ah. Just turn within in this moment. And let's unequivocally Vibrationally leap with intention. The life we are meant to live already exists within us. Let us leap. How do we leap? Oh, here it is. We become so thankful for everything. This is a practice. Sometimes it's heavy lifting. Sometimes it's easy because something good has happened. You say, oh, I'm happy. Ooh, thank you so much. But sometimes it's heavy lifting. Sometimes there's a boulder. Sometimes there's a circumstance. Sometimes there's a situation. And that situation is calling you to be more grateful than you've ever been. We leap into this gratitude. In the life that's already in existence. In the heart, mind of the infinite, we begin to pulse with it. We feel a great recognition happening. We're recognizing the presence. Oh my God, it's like, whoa, how did I miss this? God is everywhere. I look back and I see all the things that I labeled bad and realize there were so many blessings. Oh, the oyster aspect of life produced so many pearls. Oh my God, I didn't know. I'm alive. I'm awake. And I feel so one with the presence. I'm one with God. I'm one with life. I'm one with beauty. I'm one with joy. I'm one with intelligence. I'm not catastrophizing. Oh, I made a mistake back there. Therefore, my whole life is ruined. No. That's a movie from the personality. We come out of the movie theater of dread and doom. And we step into the bright sunlight. All things are possible with God. Ha! And from the feeling tone of oneness, the word is spoken. It's a vibration, it's a frequency. The word is a vibration, the frequency. In the beginning, God. In the beginning, word. In the beginning, frequency, vibration, spiritual information. Cosmos. Multi-dimensional universe. All of nature. Living biology. In the beginning was the Word. The Word was with God. The Word was God. Oh, here it is right now. In the beginning. Word. I speak it for each and every one of us that we may be free today, that every organ, action, function of our body temple may reflect and reveal the infinite in ways beyond our wildest imagining, that anything that would have hindered, delayed, blocked, or obstructed the fullness of life is now dissolved, transmuted back into the native nothingness from which it has come never to exist again, no longer clumping around the personality that feels separate from God, but now revealing itself, emanating from a strong being that is choosing the life that already exists for them. Something wonderful is happening. Something brilliant is happening. Something beautiful is happening. Something prosperous is happening. Something healing is happening, and is happening through and as each and every one of us. We are in alignment with it. Oh, I just need you to do one other thing here. I just need you to feel it. Don't wait until you see the evidence. Just feel it first. Because the lack of evidence is not the evidence of lack. There is an unfoldment, a gestation. Be with it. You're planting something. It's going to grow, and you're going to water it every day with soulful intentionality. Oh, feel that. Feel it. Woo. She's going to help you feel it for a second or two.
God as my shepherd, I shall not
match the feeling tone. With God as our shepherd, we shall not want for anything at all. God, the great presence, shepherd means our chief thought. With the presence of God as our chief thought, we shall not want for anything at all. Everything is already given. Woo. So with that feeling tone, I invite you to close your eyes for a moment and to assist the practitioners in blessing these individuals.